That's awesome, mate. That didn't sound right, right? Rock and rolling man. I got sleep back here, had that dream. I can't remember the words.
Oh no, yeah.
Classic bomb. It's been a long time since we played that.
It has been. It has
Cardo
been.
Macappa, I remember playing that.
I used to love the Cardano. Oh god, we used to angst up to. I think it was like twice as fast. It's like, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. It was so fast.
It was so fast.
I
Yeah.
don't know if I could sustain.
Yeah, that's right. After playing the whole, because it was generally our last song.
Yeah, it was always the last song of the encore or something. Wasn't
Something
it?
of the encore, yeah.
So this is Richie, I'm Grant, JetsPlayJets. We're back.
We are.
Episode
8, I think it is. I think this one's going to be.
8.
Yeah.
Remember the critical mistake in Inglourious Bastards, where it was in Germany we do this,
Right.
and he did this, and it led to many deaths in that scene.
I should have laughed about all the deaths in the scene.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Love Tarantino. Anyway, AC/DC, if you want blood, you got it.
That was for me. That's like that was one of my most played albums.
Yeah.
I reckon that my first like how how you got an album that you just over and over and over. Well, there's a few albums, but that one, and it was because for me it was that dream of that live being on stage playing in front of heaps of people. Yeah. And hear that roar of that crowd.
I couldn't agree more. When you mentioned that album, I'm like, wow, yeah, and for all those reasons, because that was a time also when you actually wanted live albums, not studio albums, for that electricity of that live thing. And like you, it was like we wanted to be those guys on stage hearing those records, right?
That's what you were dreaming of. That's like when you close your eyes and listen to some of the songs, especially like Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be or something like that. And it was just so tight. The band was so tight. Yeah. The crowd was like, Bon had him in the palm of his hands. Sure. Angus, that sound, that SG sound is where I went, I think I want to sound like that.
Yeah. It's funny, you compare like that album, and we had it on vinyl obviously, right? Mm. We'll talk about the album cover in a second. But you listen to that album and then you hear something like Live at Donington and just go, and I love AC/DC and Brian Johnson, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But that captured this essence of just the magic of AC/DC. My brother and I had that when we were kids, and before we got it, I remember going through, there's a record store near home called the Green Apple, which became Soundworld. And on our way home from primary school, we go through all the records and we look at the covers, and that cover, with Angus with the guitar through him, and then on the back he's dead with the neck coming out of his back. We just couldn't get enough of that. That was awesome.
It was I like the arts department back then.
Yeah.
The arts department, like when we were going, like doing all so chic and has to be so like, whatever. It's like back then, it's like, it had Angus dead and some blood. Yeah. Great. It's almost close to Smell the Glove. Yeah. Really. Yeah.
It was, the cover was so big. It was like, they had that big, like a witch hunt in America when there were suicides and people like Dee Snider and dragged out of the cold. But AC/DC were too. It's like they're worshipping Satan, highway to hell. Like, how funny is that looking back at it?
I know, and Main Run to the Number the Beast.
Yeah. So Toggle's not staying there. What's this?
Oh well, at least it goes to a good setting. Both of them pumping.
It's supposed to get rid of the mucky muck.
Yeah.
It's not a custom 3 pickup. We'll have to go to Mark Baker, the guitar doctor, and check that out.
Mark.
So anyway, the songs on If You Want Blood, Riff Raff, which is one of my favourite AC/DC riffs. Hello in a Bad Place, Bad Boy Boogie, I'm just the Jack.
The Jack.
Unbelievable. Problem Child, Whole Lot of Rose, You Rock and Roll Damnation, High Voltage, Let There Be Rock, I'm a Rocker. I mean, stop it.
What a great set.
Yeah, what a great set.
You know, you'd go, if you had that set in front of you, you'd be thinking, I'm gonna pump this.
Yeah. I mean, so there's some of the greatest rock songs of all time. I just, it's in its own group, you know. You talk about any other band and you still put that up and just go,
I know.
Just stop it.
And I think there's actually a Angus solo in there as well, which you would try and do.
Yeah.
But that's, that's why I love those. I used to do those ones.
Yeah.
And that's where you go. And then just sort of at that point, you're like in the crowd, right?
Yeah.
Then you would sort of start bringing the crowd in.
And
as
he
you
teased
play.
the crowd. I mean,
it was incredible stuff.
That was probably the early days of like when guys see AC/DC now, it's Angus. It's like, it's all Angus. Back then, I don't think there would have been those chants, but that's probably when it started because he revved them up. He
revved them right up.
He was like, can you think of another band where he's actually the front man and he never says a word? It's strange. That cheeky larrikin, it appealed to so many people.
That surely did.
Yeah, so I'm a rocker. We used to play I'm a rocker. I'm a rocker, I'm a roller. I'm a right out of control. I'm a wheeler, I'm a dealer, I'm a wicked woman stealer. I'm a rocker, I'm a roller, I'm a rock and rolling man.
That's how fast we play.
Yeah. That's Brad Healy playing that so fast and so tight.
Oh,
sometimes he'd play it that fast, he started and he'd go, oh no, not this fast.
Even when we were young or getting old.
Yeah, you were 20 years old and the right hand couldn't go that fast.
Yeah, you go, what am I going to do? Yeah, that's right.
You know?
That's right.
Yeah.
What could you do?
And after a big long set too, and you got nothing left in the tank, you go, take some deep breaths, let's go. Yeah,
let's go.
So,
I think there was a lot of crowd driven at that point. That's by that time the crowd had been pumped so heavily.
And we like that. We like to get really punky at the end of the gigs. We liked it to be a real devastating explosion. As much punk attitude as you can get. Yeah. So Riff Raff is
nice.
It's just such a great riff. It's funny. It's like we talk about the blues influence on AC/DC, and it's still in there.
They all are.
It's still in there, and those big open chords. You see kids go, "Come on, let's get the open chord business going."
I know that's the open chord with that A sitting in the bottom of it. And you go with it.
Exactly. Listen to that, or as opposed to.
Well, or even.
Yeah. Just not the same.
It's like a concert D.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a real subtle thing, that bottom A over D. Because you've got an A there as well. So there's an A in the chord. But yeah, that's, little things, little secrets. It's another one of those things too with the Malcolm Phil Rudd combination, that swing, that groove, that was on the bottom of everything, and then Angus just wailing on top. I think we said before, like the classic things Angus has said, we'd make the same album every time, and the other one was I've only got one solo, but it's a fucking good one.
Yeah, that's right.
When Angus was in flight. The other thing too, like you listen to that live album, it's so in tune. He's He's running around like a madman.
But how? It's just that. It's Malcolm Young. It's got to be Malcolm back there with Phil and Cliff going. It has to have been that. It was
It's
so
like-
tight because at that point, Angus could pretty much get away with anything he wanted at that point because he had that.
I was going to say they had this rock that was sitting.
It was a rock.
And it was like, mate, we're there for you to just run all over and do what you want.
Yep.
But whoa, boy, it's like this kid on lead. It was really, really dangerous. I mean, that album too. If you want blood, you got it. Rock and roll's supposed to be dangerous. The album cover is dangerous. Just brutal. My favourite videos at the time that my brother and I taped on the old VHS were the live versions of this. I think it was in Paris. It's the classic AC/DC in Paris playing that.
Yes.
And I don't know if you can find anything better in rock and roll than that. That was magic. That would have been the greatest gigs that you could ever see. Anyone that's seen those, you're lucky.
Mm-hmm.
So Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be is another great one. I never knew this song until the live album. And when I started seeing bands at 15, 16, as we did. I mean, back then you did that. Bands were playing that song. And it was weird because you knew all the AC/DC hits, but you didn't know Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be. But when you start playing the riff, I
like the part. I like how they go.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's a walking thing, isn't it?
And then the I Have a D again. What a song.
I know, but then you see, it's the Problem Child for me was a massive influence.
Yeah.
Chord-wise.
Yeah. That's right.
It was like so. I think that was like a learning thing for me. For again, obviously through the Jets, getting that big sound, and doing those pretty basic straight out chords that we, and it was like you learnt a little secret by doing that. When you finally got to, obviously, when we're doing a bigger show or bigger arena sort of things, then we could. It would just bounce out with those Marshalls.
Yeah, because the space.
Their space was huge.
Yeah.
And and we used to get sound men coming up to us all the time going, oh man, it was a pleasure to sound mix you guys. It's just like, it's unbelievable,
We had it all worked out from watching those sorts of guys. See, in the rehearsals and stuff too, we were always very dedicated to putting our stuff right. I think, for any young band, and again, I think this is missing from generations, that they don't have the gigs or the volume of gigs to play anymore. But back then, you'd like your gig would be great. All you got to do is turn it up. Just get a good tone and turn it up, Mr. Soundman.
Yes.
Now it's like, I don't think people have the right tones in a lot of situations, or they haven't done the work as a unit.
I think also, like, if you look at, if you just go and look at like a Hendrix video or something, for instance, and even AC/DC or anyone, where they would place their amps. Now we would try and, of course you're limited by stage, but as far back,
absolutely, that's right,
as you can possibly. And it was only when the front line started creeping up behind you, the first thing that's going to happen is, can you turn it down?
Yeah.
But if they're way back in a distance somewhere,
100%. I still love my amps as far back.
We used to shove them,
absolutely,
especially at the Cambridge or something like that. We used to have to shove them so
as
far
back as you can. Yeah,
because
and you get, it'd be good to sort of just get them behind the drums, so there's just big wall of sound just came out. I remember when we started playing the big gigs, big arenas and big outdoor, and we'd have, you'd have 3 Marshalls each. And I remember that was a learning curve, because you've gone from pubs and clubs where they're back, but when you're on big stages, they're back. And that was like, you just turn them all the way up. They were literally 6 Marshalls on 10. and if you stood back, it'd rip your fucking head off.
Yes.
But when you stood, it was funny because there was a spot on the stage where it was like, okay, that sounds great right there.
Yes, it was a sweet
spot.
So
you went for this massive volume, but it wasn't that loud where we stood. It was only if you went back and...
That's right. But even like we just with that we did an outdoor JetsPlay the outdoor at the foreshore.
Yeah.
Like the first thing you'd want to do is turn up, but they didn't have they had the amps pretty much right up your butt.
Yeah, and they just don't. It doesn't work as well.
No. They did kind of forget that. Just whack the things. Like if you can whack them in the next park.
Yeah.
It clearly doesn't look as good, but oh my God, you can.
I've actually done gigs where I've put the amp in the dressing room or in the dunning.
Yeah.
And just turned it all the way up.
And just run a long lead. And happy days.
Yeah.
Because you'll get it from a wedge or something. Something will fill.
But there's something about that, having multiple quad boxes and Marshalls going that moves so much air.
Because they had their own character. My Marshalls. Yeah. All three of them, all three quad boxes, all three heads.
Yeah.
They all had their own.
They're all different. Yeah, absolutely.
And you throw another one in, they would have another character.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're the way they're biased or, I mean.
Yeah, no, there are subtle differences. Yeah, we used to, as you know, we used to really not like using backline that wasn't our backline.
Yeah.
And even when we went to overseas, we'd go through so many amps till we found the ones that we wanted to tour with.
Oh my God, what about that place in London?
Yeah, John Henry's. Was it John Henry's?
I think it was, yeah. 50 amps.
Yeah.
And you just go, oh, okay. But some of them, I mean, here we are right in London.
Yeah.
Marshall heaven.
Yeah.
And we'd be pulling out Marshalls and turning them up and going, well, who's had this? Because it sounds like absolute trash. You know, someone's cooked this amp big time and they're not fixing up. I think I actually came out.
What about when you sent the amps back? Someone was saying that. Who had this amp before I got it?
Yeah, that's right. Who smashed this amp up, volume wise? Because once you start obviously past 6, 7, 8, when you're in the 8 zone, every night. And then by the end of the night, you're on 10. And if there was an 11, you'd go there as well. It starts asking questions. And questions start getting asked. Yeah, and
we always used to use the term, you've got to ask it the question. And with Marshalls, you've got to get past 6. People say turn down. If you're not past 6, it just doesn't break up and sound like
it doesn't volume. It doesn't volume up. It just compresses and does its little.
It goes where it should be.
Yeah, and cracks. It's the crack.
So it wasn't always about people complaining that we were too loud. It was we were trying to get the right tone. We were just doing as the manufacturing specifications.
Yes,
that's all we're doing. We're respecting the equipment.
We've been reading the manual specifications, but again, you couldn't get those.
Yeah.
That's what you were going for, and if you had that thing behind you, cracking it the right, like a whip, you would go. And like I used to, like one of my amps was really like bassy, and I had a lot of. That's really had a really lot of bass, so I'd have that on the bottom, and that would be my. So I'd get that EQ.
Yep.
And then I had like a 900 at one stage, and that was just like tearing your head off at the top.
Yeah.
And I had that up top, so you'd be trying to get an EQ, and then you had your old ones with the 25-watt speakers, which was such a warm sound, And
1969 they were.
Oh.
Yeah, and they were very warm, so warm. And it took me a long time when I used to hire boxes to go, it's just not as good as mine.
No, you won't get the warmth.
You can't describe it. Yeah. And those first 900 series were awesome.
Yep.
The first time they came out, I still love those amps actually.
Yeah, I went out and bought a combo of it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I kept one. I've got one 50-watter, and it was and it
was a 50-watters as well. The 950s seemed to do everything you want.
Yeah,
wasn't too angry, as in like volume wise, so you didn't get too many people like giving you that look of.
Yeah, wasn't too angry. Yeah, but there were times when it was on 10, and you're like, I wish I had a bit more in the tank on this. It's just not going where I want it to go.
But you had, like, because I had that other 100.
That's right. Always had 100 there.
You had to always have the 100.
Yeah.
To like, you can just go, because your 100 sat on about a 6, 7, 6.
Yeah. And the 100s, talking about multiple amps too, a lot of people ask, how did you rig up the amps? From memory, it was just a splitter box. You just had 3 amps, you know, going out to speakers and 1 input.
Yes.
That we had made. But the other trick was you had to take the earth pin out of 2 of the amps.
Yes. Earth pin had to go.
Which you're not allowed to do because if you get tagged and tested, you'd be breaking the law.
Oh, no, yeah. There's nothing else you could do because...
It just got rid of the buzz straight away.
Right?
Yeah.
Got rid of it.
Yeah.
It was a hum. It was like a hum.
And then we had, from memory too, some of those amps, the 900s had another channel. So you had one on, you know, you might have the 100 I used to have like on 6 or 7 and then the B channel be on 10. And so when you jumped the button, I was like, Jesus, watch out. You would have had the same.
Yeah, I had some. So I had that 800 that's sneaking over there.
Yeah.
Had the 4 inputs there. So I actually ran into that.
Yeah.
That was like the sub one. And I had it out, same thing from the input into another input. So I would Hendrix it up. So I would just keep looping that. So, and then the splitter box would run the other 100. So.
Yeah. I can't believe you still got an 800. I sold the best 800 ever.
I know.
We've all done it.
We've all done that sort of shit.
Yeah.
I'm never selling anything ever again. I don't think never again.
I've sold stuff I wasn't loving. And
true.
But there's other stuff I wouldn't get rid of.
Yeah.
But you know, I tried this old 50 watt 800 combo that was a 982 not that long ago, and my God, I nearly bought it. It was so messed up and broken up and ripped up, and God, as soon as I plugged in, I'm like, oh, just brought back memories.
Yes.
Yeah. Nothing beats that sound.
Yeah, Marshall have come out with a little baby. Ooh, that's nice.
Terrible, isn't it?
Fix that one. A little baby 800 now. The Studio 800.
Is that right?
Yes. So it's like that one. It's like a nice little 800, but I think it's only 25 watt or something like that.
Yeah.
Big raves. So can't wait to plug that in. Yeah. But that's coming back to the old how they used to sound.
Yeah. So and back then it was definitely all Marshalls for us. It was Marshalls, Gibsons, the odd Stratocaster.
I did use a Mesa Boogie for a while.
Oh, you're breaking my heart. Did you say Mesa Boogie?
I did. And you used to hate me for it.
I hate Mesa Boogies.
I know, the dual rectifier.
That's right, you did too.
And you hated me for it.
Yeah, I did. I was
in America.
I was a little broken-hearted about that.
Because I couldn't find
the right Marshall.
Yeah. They just weren't, the volume wasn't there. Where I plugged this Mesa in, and I was like, I can have heaps of volume, as much volume as I wanted. That's
right. When we toured America, we had to get these power transformers. And because we used to actually take our own amps over there, but you have to bring the power down to 110.
Yep.
And they sound like shit. I mean, they were a bit better with the transformer, but I just didn't think that even when you use their amps over there, they just something about it. The English amp was made for 220, 240.
That's right. Although our Australian amps knocked down to 110 wasn't too bad, but we had that big thing that we ended up buying that big power socket thing, that power.
Yeah, we had a power thing
juicer or whatever
to change the power.
Yeah. So we were the 3-phase going, then all that back on and go into that.
Yeah.
That was that gig, a crazy gig in LA when Slash came up and goes, how'd you get that sound?
Yeah.
He goes, I want that sound. From that, I've never had a Marshall sound like that. What sort of Marshall is this?
Yeah. That was actually, I think, we had this great roadie, Ward McDonald, who, I think Ward had moved to San Francisco years ago, I think. But he was really good with that stuff, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And he really knew what we were trying to articulate, that we just don't have the right sound in the amp, don't have the power. And he'd research and he'd go to shops and he'd bring stuff in. And
That's right.
So we carried a fair bit of gear just to get that sound, particularly in the States. The States was hard to get. Had to work on getting the right sounds over there.
Look, when you go to these bigger they were shows that were not big enough they were basically big clubs, more or less.
Yeah.
So, you're talking the power of 110. They had 3-phase, of course, and everything like that. But when you got light, PA,
you couldn't feel it. You couldn't feel it. It wasn't the same. And now, of course, people are using these amp simulators and stuff, which good for you if it works. And like out the front, it sounds fine. But I don't know. There's something about live rock bands back then where there was definitely a magic from the right volume and the right mix and the right blend from amps, push and air. There was something very much real about that. There's a great rig rundown on AC/DC that you should all watch.
Oh, which one's that one?
On AC/DC.
Mm.
So, but it's it's since Malcolm passed away, but Stevie still uses Malcolm's rig and one of his guitars.
Imagine inheriting that.
And then the guitar tech's awesome on it. So he says something like, whatever the amp, watch it, okay, rig rundown on AC/DC. The band's not on it, but the roadie takes you through everything. I think they run something like 15 quad boxes, might be each side, or Angus does. He's got 5 triple stacks, and he wants to hear it all at stage. He wants to hear his amp. But they show the amps that he's always used, and he's got something like 96 of them. And they've got 20, 30, 40 of them on the road, and they change tubes every day.
Oh, wow.
Because they can,
Oh, of course they can.
And Angus uses the same guitar. He's got 3 guitars on the road, that's it. One is the one he always uses. The other one's in case something goes wrong, and the other one's just never gets played, apparently. But Stevie Young's the same. He plays, I think, Angus's number 2 Gretsch. So they just haven't changed the sound, ever.
Well, they don't really need to. It's a formula that worked. It's like a formula that really, I think that was working for us until there was I think you should become a little bit more maybe, poppy or something or mainstream or whatever. And it's like, no, this is working for us just straight out rock and roll, Let's not go too far left to center field.
It's funny you should say that. So we started in 89 as the Jets. First album came out in 91. But sort of, you got to realise by 92, grunge had hit. It just took over. And so it was it was expected that you had to change the sound or whatever. And even AC/DC at that time, they suffered as well because grunge took over, But it's funny, if we would have started 10 years before, who'd have known? Because there was development of bands and you could develop albums, you could keep going on the same path.
Yes.
Which all, when you look at all the great bands that started in probably the late 70s, early 80s, that's what they did. They got 10 years of really good development, whether it was AC/DC or the Angels or Midnight Oil or any of those bands.
It's devastating that bands do that they will change their sounds and stuff like that, but they had to sometimes. I mean, probably not really, probably through necessity, because it depends on where their albums were going or their songs, I suppose, at the time. AC/DC was something like that. They didn't need to change.
Just went straight down the line.
Yeah.
We're not moving.
Yeah. To the point where I don't think they even record anything on play for years or something like that. They would then.
Yeah. We'd rather not change.
We'd rather not change. That's right. Let the sets come through.
Yeah.
And then they'll be sitting out there, and then when they're done, we'll come back in, I guess. Yeah. So that's how they kind of worked, which was really good.
So high voltage, I see, is on If You Want Blood.
High voltage.
I can't stay on the pickup.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah. Great stuff.
It's great stuff.
Oh, jeez.
Yes.
I want to tell you a story about a woman I know. When it comes to loving, oh, she steals the show. She ain't exactly pretty. She ain't that small. I can't sing the whole.
Yeah.
What a song. Whole lot of Rosie. With an F in it. With an F.
They don't really do Fs much, do they?
No, it's really weird. I remember the first time I learned that song, I'm like, I would never have gone for an F. Like you would.
Which is good because Fs are so good. I mean,
F is for Freddie.
Yes. No,
F is for family. Have you been watching that on Netflix? Just as a side note.
Oh, what's on?
F is for family. Have a look at that. It's pretty funny.
F is there. Yeah.
Anyway, an F, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
An F for. And it's funny, like, unless you're a diehard AC/DC fan back then, you wouldn't have known those songs. Because people that know AC/DC,
Yeah.
they only know the hits. But now, all those songs they're pretty mainstream now. It's great to see. But back then, you know, when we were kids, they weren't the big ones that people knew.
No. It was Let It Be Rock was pretty much the main one. A rocker.
Yeah, you had your Highway
to Hells. Yeah, well,
High Voltage and Tennessee.
Is that Highway to Hell on there?
No, that must have been before they did that. Yeah, it was before they did that album. So I reckon that was about 77.
Yeah, that's right. Has to be.
Highway to Hell was 79.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, I love it. But that's on the other. That's how cool.
I wish I could remember how Rock and Roll Down Nation went, but used to know every AC/DC song. I'd have to go back and have a look, but that's another classic, you know.
Jesus.
Someone's going to write us and go, "Oh no, that's not how you play it." But that's another banger.
That's a nice chord. That. And that obviously a big jump.
Yeah. What was the other song I was thinking on that was Let There Be Rock. I remember as kids the original video for that, Bon in the in the priest's habit.
Oh, that's controversial. Very controversial.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube stuff.
Our YouTube channel. I think they're going to flash something technically across the bottom here.
Oh well, if our technical person will
Click
do
now.
that.
Click there.
All good.
Our YouTube channel, not Wayne's World. JetsPlayJets.
Rock on. So it's a wrap for another. That was. I know we digressed a little bit with that one, but it's definitely talking about that sound. I mean, that's the sound that we wanted. Was definitely that album. That's for sure.
It's going to be hard to go that long on some of these other albums for me.
I'm sure we'll work it out. Rock on. Hang on, Damnation. And then I think
that's right.
there you go.
And there's another chord there, so you find that out. Send us the thing, and we'll compare notes.